Greetings, cyberdogs and citizens of the internet. This is RENDOG coming at you from the Silkworm Gang Fort in this Let's Play Minecraft survival series. In the previous episode, we were working on some of the floors of the Silkworm Gang Fort that you can see above me. And in this episode, guys, we are going to be solving a conundrum that has been bothering me for a few days now. And that is, how in the jazz are we going to get grass to grow in dirt all the way up there in the trees without using a silk touch pickaxe? Well, guys, I was chatting with some cyberdogs on dogcraft.net and I think that I have figured out how to do it, and we are going to be doing that in this freaking episode. So sit back and relax, guys. We've got some problem solving to do and it is going to be freaking sweet. Damn. And man, I just can't wait to get going on this episode. I'm so freaking excited. You know, I really love solving problems in Minecraft for some reason. I guess it's because I've been playing loads of Feed the Beast. If you guys haven't watched that series yet, go check it out, man. It's freaking sweet. But in Feed the Beast, you know, there's a lot of conundrums that you need to solve, a lot of problems that you need to get your mind around. Oh my goodness, look at this. And I guess Feed the Beast just really awakened the problem solver in me, and we are now facing a technical issue that we need to solve, and that is exactly how in the jazz do we get grass to grow up in the treetops. And I think I've got a solution, guys. Check at this. This is awesome. Oh my goodness. This is like a little route. Is this going to take us straight down to our old mountain cave? Oh, this is epic. I think this is going to take us, well, at least really close to the mountain cave. Oh my goodness, it takes us straight to the mountain cave. This is like a little shortcut to get up to Silkworm Gang Island. Silkworm Gang Fort. That is sweet. But I wanted to come back to the mountain cave today, guys, for two reasons. Number one, I want to collect some of this juicy ass wheat so we can make some more bread. And number two, I'm here to collect some dirt. And I hope, and I trust that we have a butt ton of dirt in the chest in our mountain cave. So let's just collect all of this wheat first and replant all of this jazz, and then let's get our paws on a whole bunch of dirt. Hopefully there's a few stacks of dirt in this chest. Now guys, I want you, before I tell you exactly how I'm going to do this, I want you to think for a moment yourselves. How do you think we could get freaking grass to grow in dirt at the top of trees without using a silk touch pickaxe? That is the freaking question. And the only clue that you have to work with is that we are going to be using dirt, and a butt ton of it. I'm going to leave you to brood over that for a few minutes while I collect this dirt and get my butthole back up to the fort. And oh god, there's no freaking dirt in here. Oh man, that absolutely sucks. Oh well, there's a spade in here so we can do a little bit of dirt farming. I never thought I would actually see the day where I would be 100% honestly harvesting dirt for the purposes of something. You know, dirt is like the most unconsequential freaking block in Minecraft. You know, I mean, who the freak uses dirt for anything? I mean, seriously. I don't want to mess up this landscape over here over at New Beach though, because it's kind of cool here. I think what I'll do is just, you know, sort of dig this dirt away, make a little staircase to get up into the secret entrance. I mean, we spotted this cave before, I think in episode 6 maybe, when we were fishing here in New Beach, but I didn't actually realize that it connected all the way through to the back of this mountain and basically connecting us to the Silkworm Gang Fort. That is absolutely sweet, man. You know, if we made like a little village or something over here, we could make a little path to connect it to the Silkworm Gang Fort. That could be pretty freaking sweet. So guys, have you figured out exactly how we can get grass into the top of a treetop yet? Well, have you? Is that a no? Well, I think I have the answer, my friends. What I'm going to do is build a giant ass staircase of dirt from the ground level up to the top of the Silkworm Gang Fort. And then what will happen is the grass will grow up the blocks like this, right? Because the way that you get grass to grow on a block of dirt is it needs to be adjacent to another block of dirt that has grass on it. So the theory is if we make a staircase of dirt all the way up to that first floor of the Silkworm Gang Fort, lo and behold, grass will grow its way up there, and bam, we would have solved our conundrum. And I hope it's going to work. If it doesn't work, I'm going to look like a righteous butthole, and you guys are probably going to facepalm really, really hard. Probably harder than you've ever facepalmed in this entire series. But hopefully this theory is going to work. The theory is sound, okay? And, you know, there's nothing left for us to do now but give it a freaking go. And we've basically got 1.5 stacks worth of dirt over here. So that should be enough to get up to that first floor. I think what I'm going to do is approach the floor from this direction over here. Maybe from on top of this little mound over here so that we can, you know, get as high as possible. Maybe, I don't know if that is going to work. Why don't we just start from here? Well, I think we're probably going to have to start like that. So we have a grass block there adjacent to our dirt block. And then theoretically, that grass should hop up onto this one. And then it'll hop up onto this one, and so on and so forth. And we should be able to actually do this. So let's give it a freaking go, guys. Hopefully it's going to work. And if it doesn't, I hope you have your palm ready and your face ready for a face palm. But guys, while I'm doing this, I was actually thinking today about something that I wanted to tell you, a story that I wanted to tell you guys. And it's basically a story about one of the very first times that I, as a kid, encountered death. Now, I know that's really, really morbid, but, you know, in the previous episode, we had an undead infestation. And that kind of got me thinking about, you know, about when I really, as a kid, really recognized the concept of death and, you know, the fact that things end, basically. And I think that it happened when I must have been about, I don't know, I must have been about 5 years old. It was my father was still alive, and I remember very, very clearly this particular day. And I think it is the very, very first time that I, as a kid, encountered death. And basically what happened was I found a dead bird in my garden. And it looks like we are almost up to this floor. I think we're going to have to do a little turn over here. But I remember I was making an ant city in my garden, and I found a dead bird. And it was just lying there underneath a bush very close to my where I was working. Is this actually working? Not yet. Almost working. Anyway, I found this dead bird underneath a bush, and I remember thinking, the first thing that I thought, the absolute first thing that I thought was, I can definitely bring this bird back to life. You know, there's absolutely no ways that this bird is gone forever. There's got to be something I can do to get this bird back to the land of the freaking living, man. You know, that bird was a zombie, and I wanted it to come back and hang out with me. And I took the bird to my gardener, and my gardener's name was Johannes. Now, Johannes basically would come and work on my parents' garden for a few days a week, and he was basically one of my best friends, man. Johannes and I used to hang out all the freaking time. Basically, what would happen is Johannes would work all day long or all morning long, and when lunchtime came, he would have his sandwiches and his tea and be eating in the garden, and I would go and hang out with him. And he had a really giant ass wheelbarrow, and basically what he would do is he would wheel me around the garden. We had a pretty big garden and a pretty big driveway, and I used to sit in that wheelbarrow, and Johannes used to freaking speed me around the garden at breakneck speeds. And I remember when he used to take the corners, he used to do a screeching sound. He used to go as he went around the corners, and that was really awesome. And I remember thinking, you know, I mean, you know, because I always thought that Johannes could solve any problem. Like any problem that I had, Johannes would always help me out, right? He was always there. He was like a really good friend of mine. We had a variety of fruit trees in my garden back in those days. And we had everything from like apricots and plums and apples and freaking pears and everything. And Johannes and I used to when he was having lunch, we would go and like collect some of those fruit and eat them together. And he used to be able to tell me when the fruit was ripe or not. Obviously, I was 5 years old. I didn't know when a freaking fruit was ripe. But Johannes used to help me out with that. And I used to think he was so freaking smart in the garden, because he always used to be able to do loads and loads of stuff. He would make flower beds, and he would be able to clean the pool. One day the pool would be covered in freaking leaves and dirt, and then a few hours later, after Johannes had taken his net to that bad boy, the pool would be glistening, and I'd be able to swim without any spiders or freaking leaves going in my mouth. I don't know if any of you guys have ever swam in a pool where there's insects and spiders floating around, man. Not freaking cool. So Johannes was kind of like a Superman to me, I guess. Anyway, hold on, guys. I'll carry on with the story in a minute. Just need to have a quick nap so that we don't encounter any of those freaking undead. And that includes undead zombies, undead birds, undead skeletons. We don't want to see any of those freaking bastards. Guys, I'll see you on the other side of this kablam. Kablam! Alright guys, we are back. The sun has returned. Let's have a look if any of our grass has started growing. Not yet. I think it's probably going to take a long ass time to actually start growing up this staircase. So I think what we'll do for now is just get back up to the Silkworm Gang fort and just work a bit more on the actual floors. We might as well collect a little bit more oak wood while we're at it. These trees are freaking ripe and ready for harvesting. And this gives me a good opportunity actually to finish my story, guys, while I actually take care of these trees. So anyway, I picked up this bird, and I'm sure, this was like in the 80s, right? And there was no health and safety or anything going on back there, man. These days, as a kid, if you picked up a dead bird, your parents would freak out. They would be like, bird flu alert, put that bird down, you could die, blah, 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 blah. But back in those days, man, there was none of that jazz. You picked up whatever you wanted, you put it in your mouth, you tasted it, you sniffed it, you did whatever, man. If you found something interesting as a kid, you were gonna go to town on that thing, man, with your mouth, with your nose, with your hands, everything. Freaking health and safety nightmare. But I remember very clearly Johannes was chilling at the swimming pool, sitting on this little ledge next to the swimming pool that we had there. And I took him this bird, and he was eating his sandwiches. It's so weird. It's one of my most vivid memories from when I was a kid. I hardly remember anything from being really, really young. But for some reason, this memory is really vivid. And I think it's because, like I was saying earlier, it's the first time that my childhood self became aware of mortality. If we're going to put it in a really clinical term, in real clinical terms. But I took the little body of this bird to Johannes, and he was eating there. And he saw the bird, and he saw my face, no doubt. And I think I was crying. I remember being really sad, but also really, really hopeful. That there was hope, and that I was going to bring this bird back to life somehow, man. And Johannes was going to be the savior, man. He knew so much, man. If that dude knew how to clean a pool, surely he knew how to bring a bird back to life. I mean, seriously. And I remember taking the bird to him, and the first thing he did was he put down his sandwich, and he took the little bird in his hands, and he told me to follow him, and I followed him to his house. Now in South Africa, if you have someone who works in your garden generally, or someone who works in your house, they generally have their own house on your property. So you sort of share. They sort of share the property with you, and they work on your property. And he had a place that he used to live on our property. He had his own room and his own bathroom, and his own lounge. And I remember I used to go and hang out with him there sometimes also, and I used to watch cartoons and stuff there while he was having lunch. But we went back to his room with the little bird, and I remember that for most of the time that he had the bird, he kept it completely covered in his hands. He cupped the little body in both of his hands, as if, to show me that he was somehow healing the bird, somehow injecting life back into its limbs. And I guess he was a really smart guy, man. He had like 2 or 3 kids of his own, and I guess he knew exactly, how to help in that sort of situation. But I remember going back to his room, and I remember him clearly saying to me, okay, sit down on the couch over there, and I'm going to go to the window and talk to this bird, and I'm going to ask him if he wants to come back, because he's gone somewhere else that isn't here with us now, and I'm going to have a chat with him, and I'm going to ask him if he wants to come back. So I was like, well, obviously he's going to want to come back, man. I have a sweet-ass garden. I've got like plums and apples and apricots and grapes, man. I mean, if I was a bird, I'd be going to town on my garden. Of course that little bird is going to come back. Absolutely no doubt in my mind that little thing was going to... The next time I opened my eyes, the little bird would be flying around the room, chirping with an apricot in its beak. And Johannes went to his window, and he opened the window. I remember that. I just clearly remember the sound of the window opening. And he told me to keep my eyes closed as tight as possible, to keep them closed as tight as possible, because he said that if I opened my eyes, it would make the little bird nervous. So I really had to keep my eyes really, really closed. And so I did. And I don't know how long it was, probably just a few seconds, 10, 15 seconds. He told me to open my eyes again. And I opened my eyes, and he was holding his hands above his head with his fingers open, like jazz hands, you know? And he said to me, and I said, "Where's the bird? Where's the bird?" And he told me the bird decided to come back. The bird is back in the garden. Come and see for yourself. And I ran over as fast as I could to his window, and he pointed to a bird that was in a tree, you know, quite a far distance. Same type of bird that we were, you know, same type of bird as the dead bird. And he said, "Look, there it is. It's in the tree. It's alive again." And man, I was the happiest freaking kid on earth. I couldn't believe it. And for many years, I truly believed that Johannes had actually spoken to the bird, and you know, the bird had decided to come back to Earth, and that is exactly how the bird had returned. And man, what an awesome guy. Man, I don't, you know, now I think about him, and I wonder where he is and what he's doing. And I mean, I wonder if he's even alive. I mean, he was quite an old guy. You know, when I was 5, he was probably like 40 or 50. He's probably like a grandfather now. He's probably done the bird thing to loads of his grandkids. But anyway, guys, yeah, that was just a little interesting story that I wanted to talk to you guys. The first time that I actually came face to face with mortality, and how a really smart and really nice adult actually helped me get through that little bit of trauma that I had as a kid. I wonder if you guys have had any similar experiences. I mean, let me know in the comment section below. I'm sure loads of you guys have found dead animals and dead birds and stuff. I'd love to know how you reacted as a kid, all the way back in the day. How did you actually react to it? And I'll be checking the comments of this video very, very closely to see what you guys have to say. But guys, it looks like our freaking grass is not growing yet. That is so weird. I don't know why this isn't happening. Very, very curious. Maybe what we need to do is add, I don't know, maybe we need to, I mean, we did this back at the mole hole in season 2, if you guys remember, when we needed to add grass to Beatrice's garden in front of her house. We actually did do this, and it should theoretically be working, but for some reason it's not. That is really, really annoying. Well, I mean, the only thing we can do now really is wait, right? So I think what we'll do while we're waiting is just do a little bit of work on the Silkworm Gang fort. What I want to do is just go get some more vines, and I want to complete some more of these vine steps, you know, these sweet ass vine steps that we made in the previous episode. Man, I absolutely love them. Such a sweet idea. You know what the irony is? It's actually easier to get into the Silkworm Gang fort up this thing rather than up the spiral. That's kind of funny. But we can't get too used to that staircase. We're going to have to take it down. But one of you guys mentioned that what I need to do is sort out some more of these vine steps around here. I don't know where you guys saw that, but... Were you guys messing with me? Oh, here we go. This is what you're talking about. Yeah, there we go. This is what you were talking about. Well spotted, Cyberdog, who had spotted that I had not vined up those steps, man. You guys are so freaking observant. It's ridiculous. You have ridiculous eyes. Just by the way. Okay, cool. All right, guys, while we're up here, there's actually a couple of things that I want to talk about. Number one, I want to talk about the different leaves that we are using currently in the Silkworm Gang fort. Some of you guys were saying, don't use jungle leaves and oakwood leaves in the same place. It looks weird. OCD is kicking in, change it. But guys, I'm doing it on purpose. I quite like the contrast between the oak wood leaves and the jungle wood leaves, because remember, we are trying to get as many color contrasts as we can because we are limited to materials in this build. So I'm quite happy to use different leaves. I think these are, what are these? Oak leaves? What the jazz? No, these are different, right? Yeah, these are different leaves. You see, I kind of like it, man. I like the fact that the leaves are a little bit different. See, if we make like a little patch of jungle tree leaves over here, you know, that it just adds to the flavor a bit, if you ask me. It adds to the naturalist look. And also, I've been thinking very long and hard about whether I want to keep this style of floor. And so many of you guys in the previous episode were saying that you really loved how this looked. So I think what we're going to do, right, is we're going to have different styles for each room. So this room is going to have this kind of style. This room is going to have the dirt with grass and ferns and flowers and all of that sort of stuff, because this is like the meeting area. This is the lobby of the Silkworm Gang fort. And then maybe my bedroom will have like really nicely, I don't know, maybe we'll make like a spiral out of logs or something like that. Make a really sweet ass pattern for the floor of my room. You know, make it a really, really fancy ass roof. So, sorry, a fancy ass floor, so that each floor of each room will be slightly different. So that's kind of what I want to go with, guys. I mean, let's give it a go. You know, if we don't like it, we can always change it. But for now, I'm kind of feeling this. I'm kind of feeling this really sweet floor. I think it looks absolutely epic, and we will just see where it goes, my cyber diggity dogs. But guys, I am so freaking anxious and so freaking excited to see whether or not our grass staircase is actually going to work. So I think what I'm going to do is just throw this puppy into fast forward mode until the grass actually starts growing. Well, it's grown this way, but it hasn't grown up yet. So hopefully it's going to jump up. But I think what I'm going to do, guys, is just kaplam this bad boy, and I'm going to bring you back on the other side of this kaplam if and when that grass actually grows up that step. Don't know if it's actually going to happen, but hopefully it will. So, you know, kaplam! Oh yeah, baby, it's working. The grass is growing up the stairs. Oh man, I am so freaking happy. I just had to do a little song and dance over there, man. I am so excited. This is gonna work. It's gonna take a butt long time, but it's gonna work. Oh, that is so epic. Okay, so guys, we've actually managed to solve the problem how to get grass all the way up into the Silkworm Gang fort. It's gonna slowly grow up this staircase of dirt all the way up, and it's gonna take a little corner over here, gonna carry on growing all the way up, and it's going to be eventually is going to cover this entire first floor of the Silkworm Gang fort. High five, my cyber diggity dogs. Oh, hang on. Let me take this giant oak sapling out of my paw first. High five, cyber dogs. Oh man, that is so awesome. And guys, I hope you enjoyed a bit of that fast forward action. I just put up a few of the wall foundations of this floor over here. I just wanted to get a look at what it was going to look like with these things up. And it is looking pretty damn sweet. Look at that view, man. That is awesome. Oh man, I am so freaking excited. I cannot wait to start the next episode. Unfortunately, however, guys, we have run out of time for this episode, but I really hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope you enjoyed the problem solving, and thank you so freaking much for watching. You guys know that I appreciate every single minute that you guys watch my videos, man. You guys are freaking awesome. And guys, if you did enjoy the video, hit that freaking like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, or I'm gonna shove that very sharp moon directly up your freaking butthole. Guys, this has been RENDOG playing Minecraft Survival. Literally cannot wait to see you in the next episode. Goodbye, my friends.